You think you made the decision, you think you chose. You went to a shelter, or saw an ad, or someone brought a kitten, and you said yes. Your decision, your choice, your new pet. Everything exactly as you think, except for one thing. You didn't get a cat. She got you. Not metaphorically, not in the sense of she became the lady of the house, literally. In the evolutionary, neurobiological, anthropological sense, cats domesticated humans, by themselves, deliberately, with a precision that would make any strategist envious, and this process began 10,000 years ago, and hasn't ended yet. It's happening right now, in your home, with you. And there is one moment in this story, the seventh, that scientists call the most sophisticated example of interspecies manipulation in nature. I'll talk about it separately. But first, here's how it actually happened. 1. They came on their own. Nobody called them. Every other domestic animal was domesticated intentionally. Humans caught wolves and started breeding dogs. Humans caught aurochs and started breeding cattle. Humans made an active decision to tame. With cats, everything is the opposite. 10,000 years ago in the Middle East, humans began farming, grain, storage buildings, reserves, and mice came, and behind the mice came cats, by themselves, without invitation, without coercion. They simply assessed the situation, rich source of prey, relatively safe environment, and made the decision to stay near humans. It wasn't humans who accepted cats. Cats accepted humans. This is a fundamental difference that changes everything. A dog is an animal that humans reshaped to suit themselves over thousands of years of selective breeding. A cat is an animal that changed its behavior just enough for humans to want to keep it. Minimal changes, maximum result. This isn't domestication, this is strategy. 2. They changed just enough to become indispensable. This is where what scientists call self-domestication begins. Wild cats that came closer to humans got access to mice. Cats that were slightly less aggressive didn't frighten people and weren't chased away. Cats that sometimes allowed themselves to be petted made humans want to feed them. Each of these changes gave an evolutionary advantage: more food, more safety, more surviving kittens. Over thousands of years, cats selected in themselves exactly the traits that make humans maximally inclined to keep them, not because humans were choosing them, but because these traits gave survival. The result, the modern domestic cat is genetically almost identical to its wild ancestor, the African wildcat. It hasn't changed the way a dog has, because it didn't need to change much. It only needed to change one thing: its attitude toward humans, precisely to the point where humans think the cat needs them, and not the other way around. 3. They created a language specifically for you. This is what finally destroys the illusion that you're in charge. Adult cats don't meow at each other. At all. Meowing is kitten-to-mother communication. An adult cat in the wild that meows at another adult cat, that's an anomaly. It doesn't happen. But your cat meows at you. Every day, several times. This means only one thing. Cats developed a special language for communicating with humans. They took a communicative signal that worked on their mothers and directed it at you. Because it works. Because humans respond to a sound resembling a baby's cry. Physiologically, involuntarily. Research shows the meow of a cat that wants something contains a frequency component matching the frequency of a human infant's cry. This is not coincidence. This is a tool. Cats literally learn to speak to you in a language your brain cannot ignore, and they did this by themselves, without your help, without your knowledge. 4. They hijacked your neurochemistry. When you see a cat, something chemical happens in your brain. A surge of dopamine, a surge of oxytocin, a drop in cortisol. This is measured. This is reproducible. This happens regardless of your conscious desire. But here's what's interesting. These same reactions occur when you see a baby. Large eyes, round head, small nose, soft movements. This is called the baby schema, a set of visual cues that evolution calibrated to activate your instinct to care. Cats match this schema perfectly, not by accident, Scientists suggest during the process of self-domestication, cats that looked more babyish received more care from humans, more food, more protection, more surviving kittens. Over thousands of years, selection toward larger eyes, rounder heads, softer movements, toward an appearance that literally shuts down your critical thinking and turns on your caretaking instinct. You think you find cats cute. In reality, cats activate an ancient neural mechanism in you, and you are powerless against it. 5. They use your weakness against you. There is a special type of purring that cats use when they want to eat. Scientists at the University of Sussex recorded and analyzed it in 2009. They called it solicitation purring. It differs from regular purring in one way. Embedded inside it is a high-frequency component at 300 to 600 hertz. Exactly this frequency matches the frequency of a human infant's cry. When a cat wants to eat, it literally embeds the sound of a baby's cry inside its purring, loud enough to create a sense of urgency in you, not loud enough to be annoying. Research showed people perceive this purring as more insistent and uncomfortable and respond to it faster, even people who have never owned cats, even those who don't understand why. This is not a request. This is acoustic manipulation using one of the most ancient neural triggers in the human brain. And your cat does this every single time it wants to eat. 6. They made you dependent and you didn't even notice. Contact with a cat raises oxytocin levels in your blood. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone, the same one released between mother and child, between people in love, in deep friendship. It creates a feeling of closeness, trust, the necessity of presence, in other words, attachment. And here's the mechanism. You pet the cat, your oxytocin rises, you feel closeness, you want to pet the cat again, your oxytocin rises again. This is a positive reinforcement loop, the same one that forms any dependency. The difference is just that this isn't a drug. It's a living creature that looks at you with big eyes and purrs, and your brain sees no difference between I need this cat and I need the person I love. Chemically, it's the same thing. You didn't get a pet. You acquired a source of oxytocin that knows how to walk, purr, and look at you in a way that makes you never want to let it go. 7. Here's what scientists call genius. Of all animals that live alongside humans, only the cat has maintained complete independence. A dog without a human is helpless. Thousands of years of selective breeding created an animal that literally cannot function normally without humans. A cow, a sheep, a horse, all of them have been changed so much that wildlife for them is impossible or extremely difficult. The cat is the exception. A domestic cat put out on the street survives, hunts, reproduces, creates colonies, gets along perfectly fine without you. Biologically, it needs you for nothing. And this is exactly what makes its relationship with you the most sophisticated example of manipulation in nature. It has created in you the feeling that it needs you, that without you it would suffer, that it depends on you. When biologically, it doesn't. It uses you as a resource, food, warmth, safety, while remaining completely independent. No other animal has managed to achieve this balance, to receive everything, to give back nothing mandatory, and at the same time make you think you're in charge. This is not parasitism. This is not symbiosis. This is some third thing for which science doesn't yet have an exact word. 8. Why you still don't want to know this. Here is the paradox that ends this story. You just found out that you were domesticated, that meowing is acoustic manipulation, that a cat's appearance shuts down your critical thinking, that purring creates a chemical dependency, that it doesn't need you, but you need it. And still, you don't want to give it up. You don't feel like a victim of manipulation, because what it gives in return is real. Purring heals your bones, lowers your blood pressure, reduces your anxiety. Its presence lowers your heart attack risk by 40%. It comes when you're feeling bad. It chooses you every day. Yes, it domesticated you. Yes, it manipulates you with tools that evolution sharpened over millions of years. But in this manipulation, there is more care than in most human relationships. It took you, it keeps you, and in return, it heals you every day, simply by lying nearby, simply by purring, simply by choosing you, again and again, out of every place in the apartment, You. Out of every person it has ever seen. You. Maybe the right question isn't who got whom. Maybe the right question is who needs who more, and the answer to that question, you already know. Write in the comments, do you feel like your cat's owner? Just yes or no. And subscribe. Every video here reveals what your cat has never been able to say out loud.